So there's so many great things about client account management that lend to a productive work environment, but we're definitely big on the work-life balance. And a huge part of that is working remotely and the continuous benefits that come from that. So I wanted to ask our team more about why they love working from home, working remotely, and being able to work from anywhere in the world. Here's what they have to say.
Welcome to the Happy Clients Podcast, brought to you by Dot & Company. Whether you're a virtual assistant, an agency owner, or a client-facing account manager, we all deal with clients. Lucky for you, client management is what we do best. Now, let's dig in, chat cam life, and have some fun along the way. Cheers to happy clients.
So, Jillian, today we are talking everything remote working. So, of course, it's for me. I boast about it all the time, but I really want to talk to you and our other cams about why working remotely is so awesome. So, Jillian, huge welcome to you to the Happy Clients Podcast.
Thank you. I'm so excited.
You've been a cam now for, I don't know, like well over a year.
Almost, yeah.
Not only have you worked remotely, you've traveled and worked, and you've worked in different time zones, like you have agencies in Europe. So I really think you're like the perfect person to kind of dive into why remote working is so beneficial and has all these amazing perks. So why don't we start there, Jill? Let's take one step back. Tell me, what's your setup at home? What's your work from home vibe on a regular day?
I love that. Okay, so I would say for me, working from home looks different every day. So I have a desk set up, my lighting is good, my ergonomics is good, I have my comfy chair. But I also find that if I'm in like a little bit of a slump or I want to be out and about around people, I go work from coffee shops, I work from like co-working setups, I work at the library. Like I like the flexibility around that, and like I can really be somewhere else and kind of get inspired just working around other people instead of kind of being stuck at my desk.
Yeah, so you kind of have best of both worlds sometimes too,
Yeah.
right? And I know you and I, so Jill and I actually live in the same city. I'm in the burbs. Shout out to the burbs. And we do kind of have those hardcore work sessions at over lunch or over a coffee, which is really awesome. And I think that does serve a purpose. You get up, you get to move around. I know you're kind of walking a lot of places or everywhere. So that gives you some fresh air and a little bit of exercise, which is great. And I think that's cool too. You kind of work from home, but also the work remotely. So you go, you pack up your laptop. What are you taking with you to a community workspace?
Oh my gosh, so many things. I'm such a snacker. I always have my snacks on the go. I have my water. And you know what? This time of year, I get really excited about like getting a holiday latte or something like that. They honestly make my day, just like pick up my spirits. So little things like that, honestly, can make the day just a little bit more fun to like look forward to those little special treats or special moments. Yeah.
And if you're anything like me, Jill, I mean, I'm, kind of sedimentary sometimes, but if you do kind of plan out your day, like how fun is it to kind of work here because they have the good chai latte, work here because they have the good lunch, you know what I mean? Like really plan it out, which kind of makes the remote life work exciting too. But let's go back to what the day-to-day of working remote life, like why is that important to you, Jill? What are the massive benefits of working from home, remotely, laptop life, anywhere you want?
Yeah, I would say for me, and I think this is probably the case for a lot of people, but for me, it's the freedom. I love not having to tell my boss I have a doctor's appointment at 2:30, so I'll be out. I just think there's a lot of trust in that and a lot of freedom and flexibility. And like you said, I work with teams in Europe, I work with teams in Australia, I have clients all over the US and Canada. So being able to be flexible and look at my calendar and say, okay, I have a call at 4 today and I have a call at 5. So this morning I can go to a coffee shop because it's going to be loud there and I can't take calls. And then I'll come home and I like having that change and that rhythm to every single day. And just the freedom of being able to do things in my life when they come up and, not having to ask permission to go to the dentist or
having to like miss time, right? Like I can remember having to like book off half days, like formally book it off Like,
Yeah.
go and then drive an hour to your dentist appointment, be there for 30 minutes, drive an hour back. Like, oh my gosh, when
Right.
really, you can sort of be in charge of your own schedule, which
Mhm.
makes the most sense.
Yeah.
And I think we work in an environment where everybody's kind of the same, right? Everybody has that mindset. And I always say it's a mindset, but I don't even know how to explain that. Like, can you explain it for me, Jill? Like, what is that mindset of remote working? Like, it's such a flexibility where you get your work done. You know, you have a dentist appointment coming up, get your work done, or you can just make it all work in a really efficient and awesome way. I don't even know how to explain that mindset.
I think it really truly is just a mindset of trust and like knowing how we work as a team and that we always have each other's backs. We always have our work covered. Even, even if
Mhm.
you are in a situation where you need to book off that half day, chances are you're waking up at 6 a.m. to get that work done anyway. So I think it's just the fact that the onus is on us and the
Yeah.
responsibility is there. And we trust each other to be able to, get that work done and take those.
Yeah. That is actually, I'm glad you brought that up, Jill, because that trust, and I think that's good for, people listening to this are definitely agency owners. So, like, that's good for agency owners to know, like, that trust is so important to the Dot and Company team.
Yeah.
Even though you and I are in the same city, we don't spend time together. I don't see you that regularly. So I trust all of our cams. We trust all of our cams. And I think that is sort of built up from the beginning. This isn't an environment where we can micromanage or really point fingers and kind of tough, or even, I don't even know what the word is I'm trying to, it's not micromanaging. It's very sort of trusting because you have to really be in charge of your own schedule, in charge of your own clients, in charge of the agency that you're working with.
Mhm.
And we're really upfront about that from the beginning, aren't we? Like, there's full transparency into everything client account management that we have here at Dot and Company. And we really give that to our potential cams because it's not even successful cams, but potential cams from the beginning because we want to kind of show our cards, right? This is what it's all about. And, you have to really be in that mindset to make sure that, yeah, your productivity is fire. And I think that's another good point too. I already know the answer, Jill, but tell me, are you more productive at home working, quote, by yourself? Because we're not really by ourselves. People
Yeah.
often think that
Yeah.
too. We're talking to people all day long, but are you more productive at the comfort of your own home versus an office or something like that?
Yeah, I think it actually, you know what? I think it does depend on the day, full transparency. We all have days where we're maybe a little bit foggy. We open our laptop in the morning and maybe we just need to be at home. We need to focus. We can't
Mhm.
have those external distractions. And I like that based on how I feel, I
Mhm.
can kind of put myself in a situation where I can really excel.
Mhm.
But yeah, I would say it depends. It depends. But that's how remote work works as well. It depends. Every day is so
Mhm.
different and you're not stuck in this, I have to be productive in this 9 to 5 window. If I want to
Yeah.
wake up at 6 a.m. and do work and then go to a workout class at 10 a.m., then I can do that. And if I want to work in the evening because that's going to work better for me that day, then I can do that. And that's how real life is, to be honest. Every day
Mhm.
is different. That I like that you can kind of make your schedule work for you and what's going on around you.
Yeah, that's a great point, Jill, because I'm all about that. I have kids that come home at 3:30 so that I don't want a meeting from 3 to 4. It's rare that you'll see me booked at that time because I love being home and ask them about their day, get their snack ready. And then if I have to take them to an activity, I'm hopping on that night if I have work to do for sure, because there is that flexibility that, we can sort of get it done without having to be at our desk and so rigid about that routine. That's so important too. And I love it. Like, I have no problem. I mean, obviously not recommended, but if I do miss some time because of Christmas concerts or a hockey game or a dance recital, like, I can hop on in the evening, no problem. I open my laptop and there everything is. But then also there's the other side of that too. You go to the agency and you're like, hey, I have a dance recital today. I'm going to be out 2 to 4.
Yeah.
Totally okay because everybody's in that mindset, right? So I think it kind of works on both ends too. So of course we love working remotely. I love having the snacks, maybe putting in a load of laundry. I'm super productive without people around me. Um, I feel like you get in a Zoom meeting, you chat it out, you can really, task things out afterwards and really deliver on a quick turnaround when you're by yourself and not easily distracted or distracted. Don't get me wrong. Sometimes I'm distracted here too, but max productivity, I can really get a lot done in my day here by myself again. And then I think it also kind of boosts my confidence. I can be on this call and I'm the author of my own book. I always say that, right? Like I'm here by myself. I'm leading everything. I'm not worried about who's listening. Do I have to be quiet? All those manners things you have to do when you're working in an office. If I have to be loud and ridiculous, and if people are cursing on the other line, that's okay too.
Yeah, I think that is a lot in hand with like that CAM confidence too that we hire for and we build within our CAMs is like the confidence to be in that independent role, but really take on your day and lead your
Mhm.
day, control your day how you want it to. And I think having that freedom builds that confidence because it says, here, you have your day, you plan it out how you want to, you work from where you want to. And I think it lends to that confidence building.
Yeah, I love that, Jill. I think that's really true. And I think we can't talk about the good if we don't talk about the bad. I was the cubicle queen back in the day. I was like loving the office chatter and like water cooler lady. I had a buddy at the office, your bestie at the office. So making the transition for me was, I think I was ready, or it did make sense because I did have my kids at home and I liked that flexibility. But what were the challenges for you kind of going from, well, I know also Jill had some freelancing experience. So, maybe not the same experience as me, but when you started working from home, what were the challenges, Jill? How did you kind of overcome those?
Yeah, I would say one of the main challenges for me was not having those physical in-person connections at first. We talked to a lot of people throughout the day, probably even more so if you were in an office setting. But that was difficult for me at first, not having that kind of like random banter about Black Friday sales or
Mhm.
what's everyone's coffee choice today? What did you do on the weekend? That kind of thing. But I actually found the longer that I've been to CAM and the more that I've been in that role, that making those connections intentional and actually striving to go out of your way and ask your coworker, how was your weekend? Did you do anything fun? Actually
Mhm.
creates those moments in an even more meaningful way. Because I think sometimes when you're in an office setting and you live that life, it kind of starts to feel mundane day to day.
Mhm.
You go through those questions and those conversations and you don't even really feel impacted by them maybe, but you have to be intentional and you have to say, okay, if I want to talk to someone today about my weekend, I'm going to have to reach out to my team or let me
Mhm.
throw in this article that I thought was really cool and see like
Mhm.
what other people think. You kind of have to create those moments. And I actually find that that is really meaningful.
Yeah, and definitely serves our internal team for sure. But then, like, let's flip that to the agencies, right? I think it really goes for the clients as well. So our clients are definitely agency owners, but their clients, because we're always talking about clients and clients, but their clients were doing the same thing too, right? That relationship piece. And I think that's not always present inside of agencies before, you have that dedicated person. So I think that's true too. I've worked with CAMs that are working in agencies that, hi, how's the weather? And they just don't seem to be receptive to it, which is totally fine. And, the agency was just told the CAM, you know what, we don't need it. And she was totally cool. She's like, okay, that's fine. And then other people just love it too, because sometimes there's people on the call, maybe media buyers, agency owners, they just don't have the energy to kind of be that relationship person where you're like, how was your weekend? How are the kids? How's the puppy? All those good things that because you're the go-to person for the client. So I think it goes both ways, here on the dot team, but also with our clients, which, they don't always have it either. They're not always part of a team. We are sometimes the go-to person that they want to chat with and know about their day and kind of what's going on in their lives. So I love that point, Jill. That's awesome. No
Yeah.
commute. That's a huge one. I don't want to be stuck in my car ever.
Yeah, that is a huge one. And actually, I was thinking about that before this call. I think for me, my daily routine has changed a lot. I have more time in the morning just to kind of wake up, have a coffee, sit
Hmm.
on the couch, read the news, read a book, just kind of have those like slow, early starts to my day that really prep me for hitting the ground hard and having a productive
Yeah.
day. Whereas when you kind of wake up and it's like, I have to be here by 9, and then, oh my
Stress.
God, 5 minutes late. And
Mhm.
is my boss going to be mad at me? Those kind of little things that really add up in a day to kind of make you feel like maybe you're not meeting those markers.
Mhm.
Whereas, with Dot and with the remote work, the more of the focus is on the output and the conversations. And are you making your clients top priority? Are you having conversations with them? Are you connecting with them on a daily basis? Those are the things that really stand out, as opposed to me walking in 5 minutes late.
Yeah, I totally agree with that too. Jill, you're nailing this with all these points. Like all the cups are being full, right? The kind of self-care in the morning, wake up. Mondays, I don't want to be rushed on a Monday, sit in my car, rush through the parking lot, rush up the stairs. You know what I mean? Where I mean, I do have to rush and put kids on the bus, but I can do that in my jammies. I'm that mom. But yeah, you can kind of just have that self-care in the morning. And self-care is reading a book, scrolling TikTok,
Yeah.
all those kind of things that just really put you in a really awesome mindset to start your week.
Yeah.
Yeah, not the stress and panic of even picking somebody up from the daycare at the end of the day, or making sure you get to this activity, or you don't want to hit the 5 o'clock traffic because you'll be there for 3 hours. So all those things certainly add up and just kind of make for a happier work environment, work person, work life balance.
Right. And even just the little things, like for me, I live in a building, I don't have a concierge. So if a package is delivered, then I want to be here to pick it up, and I'm here to pick it up. And I don't have to, think about it sitting outside my door while I'm, stuck at the
Yeah.
office. Or, even weather, like Halifax has some crazy winter weather, storms. People constantly are having to work from home, maybe in settings where that's not set up for them. And then that's really difficult. So just having that flexibility of like being able to be home is really, really nice.
Totally nice.
Totally.
And nobody ever sees your pants. So you could have PJ pants on all day long.
Pants on, and my
Yeah.
pants sweater, and that's the
So there's so many benefits from working from home, working remotely. And Jill, I think you have a really great perspective, a really smart outlook on what those are. So thank you so much for taking some time and chatting with us today. I know there's so many people that are in the same boat and so many people that want to be in that boat. So a lot of great info there, Jill. And thank you so much for being on the podcast.
Thank you. So fun.
Cheers to happy clients.